Um,
Uh, may I know in
Abara.
which position am I speaking? On which
Abara.
position?
Karan, you will be speaking third, and just to confirm, your stance is for. Perfect. Is so you're speaking third. Okay, perfect. Is everyone ready? Should I begin?
डबल तो नहीं आ रही आवाज़?
Okay.
डबल तो
So
नहीं
good
आ रही
evening,
आवाज़?
one and all present. I am Anya Arora, take great pride in welcoming you all to the third and final round of our first event, Notion Negotiations, organized by the Youth India Foundation chapter at Symbiosis School of Liberal Arts, Pune.
Okay.
Youth India Foundation is a non-profit social entrepreneurship organization that unites youth from across India to harness their skills and talent for a noble cause. It aims to unearth the hidden potentials of young Indians and motivate them to bring about a positive change in their environment. SSLA is an environment where each and every individual is given an opportunity to express and be the best version of themselves. Students from SSLA have been participating and contributing in the success of YIF events for quite some time now. It took rigorous hard work, dedication and perseverance, and I'm proud to say that we have successfully organized our first event and raised money that will help the underprivileged. All of this wouldn't have been possible without the constant hard work of our President Ishika Faruqi and Vice President Vineet Singh Kohli. Since day one, they have fought tooth and nail to make YIF and SSLA a success. From getting together a team to personally reminding and checking up on everyone, including the department heads, the members and the campus ambassadors. They have worked day and night to make this event possible to such a short period of time, and without them, this chapter of Youth India Foundation would have been fictional. Now I'd like to invite Ganesh to say a few words. Ganesh? Ganesh, are you here?
Hi everyone, respected judges and my fellow participants. I am witnessing today is the final round of our society event, Ocean Negotiation, and it gives me very pleasure to tell you that you guys have been very good participants, and congratulations on being in this far. I hope that the topic given today is a very good topic, and I hope you give your stance best way possible.
Yeah,
Go ahead and all the best.
I can see
And best
Disha.
participant.
I can see Disha.
Okay, so I'll move on. This team is certainly incomplete without Onam Vadhva, our General Secretary, who has been a constant pillar of guidance to everyone and has been contributing in team building since day one. I also would like to thank all the Youth India Foundation department heads who have been a constant light of direction. Moving on, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our honorable judges for tonight. Our first judge for tonight is Dr. Amit Kashyap, who is a constitutional law and human rights law specialist. He has an LLB, LLM and doctorate in law from the Department of Law, Himachal Pradesh University, Shimla. He obtained his PhD degree in the year 2014 as UGC NET SRF, Regular Research Fellow from the Department of Law, Himachal Pradesh University, Shimla. Dr. Amit Kashyap has more than 12 years teaching, research and administrative experience. In legal education, he has served at the HP College of Law, Kala Lincoln College of Law, Sirhind, Department of Laws, HP University, and Department of Law, Central University of Punjab, Batinda. He has a deep interest in research and has got many articles and research papers published in reputed international as well as national journals, and presented various research papers again in national as well as international seminars and conferences. He has contributed many chapters in edited books as well. He has successfully organized various para-academic activities, programs from national seminars, mood competitions, panel discussions, debates, etc. Dr. Amit Kashyap is the coordinator as well as faculty in charge of the Mood Court, Legal Research Cell, and Legal Aid Center, We are honored to have you here with us, sir. I request you to say a few words to our participants for tonight. Dr. Amir?
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Hello.
Yes, yeah, we can hear you.
Actually, actually, in my area there is a bandwidth problem right now, so I'll be not in a position to speak much more. But I want to just welcome all for this competition. I wish all the best to everyone. So I just say all my good wishes to all each and everyone. So all best of luck to all the participants. So go ahead. So
Thank you,
over to
sir.
you now. Again, thank you
so
very
much,
much.
sir. Thank you. Okay, so now moving on to our second judge for today is Miss Disha Rai Singh, who started freelancing as an independent creative consultant in 2007 to provide insight-led brand solutions. Getting out of her office and connecting with her brand's customers delights her. She is a strong believer of experiential learning and likes to dig solutions by actively interacting with the customers. She loves to go all out to make her brand story interesting, entertaining, and engaging by pitching ideas, working collaboratively, and thinking with a startup mindset. Over the years, creating content for brands across social media has always stimulated her. Crafted communication strategies in response to defined marketing objectives. She also readily participated and contributed to brand strategy discussions to uncover opportunities for brand growth. Aside from this, she has also won several awards for creative excellence at the local advertising awards and internationally. Ma'am, would you like to say a few words to encourage the participants today? Ma'am, you have to unmute yourself. We're not able to hear you.
Okay, hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Thank you first for inviting me. I'm very, very excited and looking forward. I think the youth of India, to hear you speak is a privilege. I'm always all ears and eyes to hear what the youth is saying. You guys are the people who are going to lead our nation in the future, today and tomorrow. What you speak is valid across the industries. Your ideas to listen to what's happening on the marketing team, which I belong to, and what brands will speak, who they will speak to, what are your interests, what are your views. I'm very, very excited to know. And this topic is giving me the opportunity to hear you from both sides. So all the best to all the participants, and looking forward to this debate. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those kind words, ma'am. It gives me great pride to welcome both of you to the third round of this event. With weeks of preparation, days of planning, and utmost hard work, I present to you Notion Negotiations. As I said, today will be the round 3 of this event with the topic, This House Believes that God can prevent evil but doesn't. This topic will revolve around the well-known dilemma that if God is unable to prevent evil, then He is not all-powerful. If God is not willing to prevent evil, then He is not all good. If God is both willing and able to prevent evil, then why does evil even exist? Now I will be going on about the rules once again. Every participant will get a chance to deliver his or her speech in his allotted stance. The minimum time limit is 2 minutes, while maximum being 3 minutes. Our SecGen, Onal Wagwa, will be keeping account of the time and will give a warning bell at 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and finally at 3 minutes exactly. After the speech will be a rebuttal round where the floor would be open to questions from the participants as well as the audience. Our finance head, Iknoor, will recognize the students for questions for POIs that will be raised. Now, I would like to introduce our sponsor, Tribe, which is a luxury award-winning student hostel, which is beyond the ordinary. It is a community that elevates you and motivates you to live better every day, in a space exclusively designed for you. From unbeatable interiors to top-notch amenities to a culture so strong you'd never want to leave. Tribe gives you the feeling of home even when you are away from it. I present to you Tribe.
Hi everyone, good evening, and I hope everyone's doing well. Am I audible?
I'll correct myself.
Onam.
Onam is doing the POS. Who's doing the time?
She's only doing the time also, I think.
And we're currently based in Pune, we're based in Bombay, and we're coming up in about 3 more locations in Pune, including Goregaon Park. So I have something small to present to you guys. I won't take much of your time. It'll probably be a 2-3 minute thing, but I just hope you guys can
I
get
have
it.
mute. Wait, I have some out.
Alright, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Like I said, Pride is the luxury award-winning hostel. We've gotten multiple awards nationally and we've got recognition internationally this year. Every year we try to upgrade our facilities, and the entire idea came from the fact that me and my brother both were staying in hostels throughout our lives, and we always thought that we need a better place to live. Apartments weren't doing the job, hostels were really bad, PGs were just not negotiable. So we thought of creating something that would, bridge this gap and make something absolutely incredible for students. Where you have a lot of freedom, but you have a place that's safe, that's really, really hygienic in today's times as well. So why would you guys need Thrive from symbiosis? So firstly, we can guarantee that we have the best standard of hostel in anywhere in the country. We go to the typical hostel. We're not from the typical hostel mentality where we got bunk beds and you're really nice to back. We've got great facility, we've got amazing great facilities, gyms, trainers, cafes, play zones, chill zones that you might not find of this quality anywhere in the country currently. Like I said, we've gotten multiple awards, including student housing projects of the year, we've got India's fastest brand, we've got the best design projects in India, and hospitality projects of the year. We've just been nominated for the had a lot of fun the last year with all our residents. We made sure everyone's been safe, but we've also had a lot of fun with everyone. So it's been a great balance of things, and we're already looking to sell out very, very soon this year as well. So we're known for our unparalleled quality, we're known for our top-notch service. We try to make sure we create a community that's very fun, that's very inspiring, that's very where you can meet a lot of people with a similar mindset as well. So that's what we try to do every year. We try to improve on it every year as well. So what do you get when you join, right? You get fully air-conditioned rooms, ensuite bathrooms. These are brand new rooms with apartments in a room. We only do single and twin rooms. Also from a COVID perspective, we will never move more than 2 people in a room. I think that is the utmost that we go to. Our food is top notch. We try to offer one of the world's best operators, Sodexo, who handles all our operations of food. Our campuses are completely keyless and cashless, so you've got to really do that. You can just come up, get inside your room, move around campuses and stuff as well. We've got gym and fitness centers in all our campuses. We've got great chill zones with a lot of TVs everywhere, and there's also everything included. A security is top end. We've got 24/7 security. We've got everything on biometrics. We've got everything based on bands. And the most fun aspect of us is our community events. Events throughout the year. We've got outdoor events. We've got events for personality development. We've got just fun events. We've got coffee nights. We've got a great load of things that we're planning for this year as well. And even in terms of our technology, everything is controlled from technology. What you eat, where you are, how your life leads. We also do not have curfew, because we believe that as long as we know where you are and what you're doing, it should be in your hands to take care of your freedom as well. So these are some of the pictures of Vimannagar, which is 5 minutes away from symbiosis. So these are the three copies on the right, where you see all of the different matches. In short, you can always go to our website, that is website.com. On the other hand, you can always visit our facilities and we'll be happy to show you around. We are based in Oman. So please feel free and you can follow us on social media as well at Tribes on all BC locations as well as Twitter and YouTube. And thank you for your time, guys, for this conversation. And I think we'll get more later then. There is anything further to say. So over to you guys. And well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that presentation, sir. Now we'd like to move on with our participants. Arushi, you have the floor for the next 2 minutes. Please go forward. And please specify your stance before you start so that people are aware.
I was always told the story of the man who blamed God for not helping him because he couldn't see his footsteps along to his own. But it was only to learn later that it was because God was actually carrying him. American philosopher Alvin Carl put forth a proposition that is intended to demonstrate that it is logically possible for God to create a world that does contain evil, because he can remove evil only by removing the possibility of moral good. And hence, my friends, in the words of J. Warner, all the character values you want, you can't get unless you have a world that causes these virtues to rise to the top. To have courage, you must have danger. You want to be empathetic? There must be suffering. Charity, there must be poverty. And the biggest virtue, my friends, forgiveness. It can only exist if we commit mistakes. Here, I'd like to compare it to real life. My parents can provide for all my education and living expenses. However, as I become an adult, I know they are going to ask me to get a part time job. That is not because they don't love me, but that is because they love me enough to let me face difficulties for 1 or 2 years to be able to strive in the years left for my life. And therefore, God may, in the context of eternity, love us enough to care more about our character than our comfort, and to want to get all those attributes to emerge. He might expose us to things that will cause us to endure. To conclude, from Ramayana in Treta Yuga to Mahabharata in Dwapar Yuga, evil has always existed. And God, my friends, has always had the power to prevent it. But He didn't, because He wanted us to actually learn from it and grow. He can't create free creatures who are forced to follow Him. He could probably create a robot world, but that wouldn't exactly be a free universe at all. Thank you so much.
Arushi, that was truly an insightful speech. I would now we're open for POIs, and Onam Badua will be selecting the people for the POIs. So over to you, Onam.
Thank you, Arushi. So the first question is by Dhairya. Please go ahead.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, Dhairya.
So my question to you, Arushi, is that in your speech you mentioned about there are some universal evils that should be countered by God, that should be prevented by God. But since these evils are made by humans, why is it the God's job to prevent evil if they are made by humans?
Thank you so much for your question. In fact, my whole speech was about God not being the one to be blamed for all these evils. Because what I said basically was that evil is very subjective, but there are some universal evils that exist in the world. But it is not God's responsibility, or rather, I would say God necessarily does not eradicate that evil, because He has created a free world and we have a mind of our own to choose between good and bad, and therefore it is our responsibility. So I think my speech was actually for your question that you asked. So I think that answers your question.
Thank you. Nitra, you can ask your question.
So, in your speech, Arushi, you said evil is subjective, and I quote, my worthy opponent, I have to ask you, if evil is subjective, then I could do a crime as heinous as murdering someone, and someone with the same mindset as me will agree that it's not that heinous a crime. Whereas someone with a rational mindset will definitely say that it is a crime and it's evil. So, how can you say something as general as a statement as evil is subjective?
Yeah, thank you for your question. So, basically, to support that, I quoted Sadhguru, who said that good and bad are just a certain level of prejudice against life. However, so for example, homosexuality, if we take into consideration, until about 2-3 decades before, people used to consider that to be a sin. People used to consider that to be kind of evil, but the present generation does not think or does not believe so. So that is why I said that evil is subjective. However, just after that, I said that there are certain universal evils. Of course, you can't go about murdering people and say that, I don't think that it is evil to do so. That is why we have a that is why we have a judiciary system, and that is why we have our laws to tell us what can and what cannot be acceptable in the name of liberty. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Arushi. We'll be taking one last question, and Vasik, you can go ahead.
Arushi, that was a very nice speech. I would like to ask you, what if we are worshipping or asking the wrong God? There are so many gods, people worship so many gods. It might hurt the real one, and this might cause a problem. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Although that is not very much related to the topic, but still I would like to answer that. So I believe that different people have different perceptions of God. You cannot, just because the reason is same, because we live in a free world, so we are free to choose who we worship, or whether we worship anybody at all or not. So as an individual, I believe God necessarily not be in a particular shape or in an idol, but it's just a power that is above, which is controlling everything and which is causing everything to happen the way it is happening. So, yeah, I don't think that anybody can convict that this is the right God that you all need to follow, and I don't think that should be a reason for any problem.
Thank you, Arushi. We can move ahead. Manya?
Okay, so next we have Gayatri, whose stance is against. Yeah, Gayatri, you can go ahead now.
One rape happens every 16 minutes in India. The World Bank estimates that the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic will bring in an additional 88 million to 115 million people into the realm of poverty, bringing the total to between 703 and 729 million this year. Now, even as a kid, seeing all of this play out in front of me, I always wondered, if God is real, why isn't that God doing anything? Why is this God just standing and watching? But that's when I realized that we are that God, that our humanity is that God. Good evening. My name is Gayatri Nair, and I will be speaking against the motion. My belief is that we are the masters of our own fate, the gods of our own life. As quoted by author Ella Wheeler Wilcox, you are your own devil, you are your own God. You fashion the paths that your footsteps have trod, and no one can save you from error or sin until you shall hark to the spirit within. So in that perspective, can us humans prevent evil? Not really, for that would be against the laws of the universe. It's yin and yang after all. But do we try to prevent it and often succeed? Yes. Currently, I'm working for a campaign to raise funds for migrant workers during this pandemic, so as to provide them with basic needs and hygiene kits. I get to work with people and organizations, one of them being Habitat for Humanity, and they want nothing but to help those in need. The joy that I have seen in the eyes of a human helping another fellow human just restores my faith that that we do indeed want to restore evil. The evil in this case stands for poverty and disease. This initiative has already helped 9,97,769 individuals as of October 1st, 2020. Martin Luther King Jr. fought for the rights of African Americans in USA in the 1950s and 60s, where the evils of prejudice and racism plagued the entire country of the United States. Until this very day, Martin Luther King Jr. has been accredited for the civil rights movement, revolutionizing peaceful protests and demanding for equality before the law. And because of him, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was passed. And this law ended the legal separation of people by race, color, religion, or national origin. Not only that, but he formed a huge part of the protest against the futile Vietnam War and poverty. Now, when we see charities and research centers for diseases like cancer coming up, with selfless people running them at their core, don't we see God in all of them? Studies from Healthline says that non-profit sector raises an estimated $2.5 to $3.25 billion for breast cancer in a year. Now, when people demanded for justice for Nirbhaya back in 2012 and held candle vigils for her, when just a few months back people marched the streets for Black Lives Matter, and just recently this week when everybody finally amplified the voices of Dalits and the violence against them, this collective awakening of the individuals involved is as high as that to be considered folly and the effects are magnanimous. I believe in the kindness of strangers. As quoted by Mahatma Gandhi, you must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is an ocean. If a few drops of the ocean are dirty, the ocean does not become dirty. Thank you.
That was a very, very, very well researched speech, Gayatri. That's very good. And now we'll move on to POIs for you.
Great speech, Gayatri. So the first question will be by Arushi.
Thank you for acknowledging me. So, Gayatri, in your speech, you said that you raised a question: can we prevent evil? And just with that, you said that no, we can't because it would be against the universal laws. However, I quote somebody very famous who said that you can't change the world by helping everyone, but you can change somebody else's world for them by changing that particular individual. So what do you have to say about that? I do think we cannot eradicate evil, but we can prevent it for sure, and that is not against the laws of the universe. What do you have to say about that?
Thank you so much for your question. That is exactly what I said. So what I said is that us humans cannot prevent evil, but we do try to prevent it, and we do succeed. And I have also given a lot of examples, such as plenty of charities like Habitat for Humanity, or even a lot of cancer research centers, and also great people like Martin Luther King Jr. So thank you.
Thank you, Gayatri. So, Vasik, you can ask your question next.
Hi, that was really a nice speech, Gayatri. See, if I do something wrong, I turn to Allah and ask for His forgiveness. That's guilt, na? So I think in my place that Allah is doing this. Allah is giving me this hard time to make myself remember Him, to turn to Him. So what's your thoughts on that? If there is pandemic, we should repent and we should ask for His forgiveness because we have done something wrong. That's why He is angry. So what's your thought on that?
Thank you so much for your question. And for, I completely respect everybody's belief, and that is your belief. And I do believe that, whatever we put out to the universe, we get it back. So perhaps we have had centuries of evil that we are putting out into the universe, and we are finally getting it back. But that does not allow for innocent people to be suffering because of it. And so we have great people who are working to reduce the suffering for innocent people. Thank you.
Nitya, you can go next.
That was a really great speech, Gayatri. But you spoke about human evil in general, like poverty, etc., etc. What about eradicating or preventing, rather, sins like the 7 cardinal sins that are envy, wrath, sloth, greed, lust, things like that? which are created also by humans, how do you pose a solution either by God or humans for that?
Thank you for your question. So, I like to say that human misery is human made. So the only way to get through something that is human made is to find a human solution to it. So as soon as we all socially awaken and we realize where we're going wrong and come together and just accept for once where we're going wrong, I do believe that we could come to a solution. Thank you.
Thank you. We can move ahead to the next speaker, Manya.
Yes, so next we have Karan, who will be speaking for the motion.
Am I visible and audible?
Not visible, Karan, but we can hear you well.
Am I visible now?
No, you're not. Oh yeah, now we can see you.
Okay. Just let me know when should I start.
Oh no?
May I start?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. As the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, we are here to perform our karma and the deeds. Now, we try to solve this life by performing our karma. The result is nothing but the payment of our deeds, said the God. Now, greetings to one and all present here. My name is Karan Parekh, and I'm here to strongly support the motion of the House that yes, God can prevent the evil from happening, but He doesn't. Now, just for an example, who is God? To me, God is an unbiased supreme authority who holds the power. He is the creator, He is the caretaker, and He is the destroyer. The only rule is to do a little good, but little did He know that humans know how to fool. Now they say an apple for a day keeps the doctor away. I surely don't know what Adam and Eve will think about this proposition. They might have a different opinion to this one. But this is the very base of the argument that I am trying to make. That He is not the referee of the game. He is just the observer. And his tally, his remarks start after the game is over. Moving on to my next and the second argument, that as a thinker, He created the good, He created the bad. Now, as He cannot stop the good from happening, how is He liable to stop the evil from happening? He just cannot. It will be against His ethics because, as I again quote, He is an unbiased entity. Moving on to my next argument by saying that He can guide but cannot force. For example, He's told all of us to love is the purest form of prayer that anybody can offer. Doing the good to others is the rightest form of ritual that anybody can do. But how many of us do actually follow that? My next argument is that it's not His job. It's not His job. There exists good to fight the evil and to prevent the evil from happening. Just imagine this case that there are hundreds and thousands of people praying to God each and every day. Give me this and give me that. If He listens to all of the prayers, He will go confused and He will go mad. This is the reason why He doesn't interfere and He leaves the job to the people and of the people. Now, if I put this in the terms of economics and marketing, profit to some will be lost to others. And this is the reason why He leaves it to the people to take care of themselves. Now, my next argument is that God fights for the good, to keep it, to preserve it, but He never ever instructs that one should perform the evil deeds. It is nothing but the karma of the doer. And again I quote that mansa satatam smaraniyam vachasa satatam vadiniyam lokahitam mama karniyam. That is the initial duty of the doer to do. And this is where God created this entire world for us. We are in it, the players. He is not the referee. He is just the seer. He is just the doer. And in that case, if He, restricts or if He prevents the evil from happening, it will be against His ethics. It will be against His morals. Thank you. I rest my case.
Thank you, Karan. So now we'll be taking questions. Ashi, you can go first.
Hi, am I audible and visible?
Yes, Ashi, you are completely audible and visible.
So great speech, but my question to you is that you mentioned that God is the supreme authority. But what about those people who don't believe in God, at least. They just don't follow the principle of God and they don't believe in that area. So how is that God is taking power to judge them or to be observe them because they simply don't believe in God?
Okay, Ashi, if for just an example, if among all of the participants, if anybody is atheist, right? But as again the topic says that God can prevent the evil from happening, that means even he has to, fight on the very same topic. Are you getting me?
Yeah. So can you elaborate?
So that's my case. God is the supreme authority. Even if you see the topic, he says God can prevent the evil from happening. So somebody who can prevent the evil from happening is definitely a superpower. Is the supreme authority.
But somebody who don't believe in him, then how could it gel? Why, if he's the supreme authority and I don't believe in him, then why would I take his decision? That's my question.
God never gives you decision. You make your own decisions.
Okay, I can't counter you right now, but I'll tell you in chapter. Okay, but some things are there that we have to agree upon, like the evilest type of rape. God can't say don't do rape. So that's the universal thing.
That's what I said, that he's unbiased. He never says you to do evil. It's you who does it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's you who does it.
Okay, moving along. Gayatri, you can ask your question.
Thank you for your lovely speech, Karan. So you kept mentioning a he. So what is this he according to you?
Well, I won't be gender specific and I won't put it in the box of a male or female or whatever. So as we say men or man, so we generally don't refer to a gender term. We just here take a notion that we can refer to somebody. Are you getting me? Are you getting me? So God, is above all the living and the dead, the supreme authority, the only entity. And according to the laws of universe, we, the entities, we come and go. And we are never perfect and we are never balanced. But he is morally perfect, the transformed version of Sharma Ji Ka Beta. So that everybody can look up to. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Thank you, Karan. So now the last question will be by Shravani. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Shravani, I can hear you.
Really nice speech, Karan. So my question is, if you said that it's not his job, but if it's not his job, then whose job is it? Because in the hands of humans, we are close to bringing the world to extinction. So who do you think the solution? Who do you think should come up with the solution?
It's the job of the people. I think the world wouldn't have known Mahatma Gandhi if Britishers never exist. If there wasn't the British Raj in India, Mahatma Gandhi would have never come into existence. So doing good is the job of the people and doing evil is the wish or the want of the people. So it's all the game which is played by the people. God never comes and tell you to do good. God never comes and tell you to do evil. It's your wish to do so. So that's what I mean about it. I hope I am clear with my answer.
Yes, thank you, Karan.
Thank you so much, Ravni.
Okay, thank you, Karan. So we move along.
Thank you.
Manda. Thank you.
Now I'd like to invite Akshi with her stance, which is against the motion.
Yes. Okay. I'm clearly visible and audible.
Yes, Akshi, you are.
Hello everyone, my name is Ashi Jain, and the house says that God can prevent evil, but it doesn't. I would be speaking against the motion. So the big question here isn't that God is having choice to prevent evil or not. The question is God capable of preventing evil? And if yes, then which God are you talking about? Because there are so many gods
available. Like in this earth, we are having so many beliefs, religious beliefs in different gods, which are having their own ideology, their own definition of being evil. For some, multiple marriage or consumption of alcohol is considered as an act of evil, but for another, it is not. So, which God are you exactly talking about? Moving further, I would like to tell, if I talk about God, then I would like to ask you one question. What is a temple? Temple is considered as the purest place where God lives, where God actually survives, where we are having His presence there. You know, in that very temple, an 8-year-old girl was brutally raped and murdered. And you know by whom? By the man of God, by the messenger of God, by the person who have that interconnection with the God, the priest, or in Hindi we say the sadhu. If the man of God and if in temple such activity exists, then whose responsibility it is? Should we blame God for it, or should we blame ourselves for it? Should we blame our inner thoughts for it? Should we blame the kind of person and the mentality that we are having? Simple statement which I like to mention is that God is within us, and that God will help us to prevent any evil activity, not the external God which I mentioned. And when I say about God, there are some people who believe that there is only one God that exists in this world. They don't believe in the religious form or anything. Okay, then tell me, the times of Hitler. Hitler was the one who believes in some other religion, and Jews were the one who believes in some other religion. They both were having different gods and their belief. But now we are assuming that there is one God there in this world. So this means that both Jew and Hitler were following same God. So Hitler was doing so many, in the concentration camp, the evil activities. But according to Hitler, it was not evil. But according to according to the Jews, it was evil. So what do you think? God is being partial, or God is favoring Hitler? No, God is in. It is you who is deciding, because God is not there in the external environment. It is within you. It is you who is going to take deal for your action. It is you who is going to be accountable. Because we humans are very smart. We think that whatever we achieve good in this life is because of us, and whatever bad has happened is because of God. I would like to mention, in this external world, God doesn't happen, God doesn't exist. It is within you. That God which is within you can help you to stop the evil activity. But once you committed those evil activities, then you are it. You can't say that this was the fault of God, or God could pretend but He didn't. No, it's your fault, it's your hand, because you are the ultimate creator of your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashi, for your speech. So now we'll be taking questions. Dhairya, you can go first.
You mentioned in your speech that the God decides in us, and it is us that decides what happens.
Your voice is breaking.
Okay, great. Am I clear now?
Yes.
Okay. So in your speech, you mentioned about how God decides in us, and it is on our will that we decide what good we do or what bad, something around in that way. So my question to you is that since your stance is that God can prevent evil and He does.
Your voice is breaking again. I think you should type the question. Sure.
Yeah, I'll be doing that.
Okay, so until Dhairya types his question, we can move ahead. Nitya, you can ask your question.
Ashi, that was a great speech, but I have a question. So you gave the example of the temple and how a rape took place over there, which is a very saddening event. But the only person to blame over there is the rapist. It's not God. It's not anyone else on the girl's fault, obviously. So when you brought up that example, you intertwined religion with God. But I have to point out that God and religion don't always go hand in hand. God created man, but man created religion. So what do you have to say about that?
Thank you so much for your question. And here I would like to bring clarity on two of my topics. Number one, she mentioned that I was blaming God. That was so sarcastic. I was saying that was the evil act that was done by human. God is not responsible for it. The holy place, the temple, by the priest who was so close to God, who considered so close to God, did that activity. So should we blame God? Of course we don't. We have to blame ourselves, the human act, the mind, the human mentality that we are going through. Another thing is that religion and God are very different things. For clearing that statement, I mentioned one more example where I talked about imagine a world where we are having existence of only one God. Where I talked about the example of Hitler and Jews. Both were following different religion according to them, but the supreme power was one. So then why there is a chance of happening of evil activity? Just because of human mind, just because of human greed and their way of taking life. So we can't blame God, and we can't intellect or we can interconnect God and religion, which I clearly exemplify through the example that there is an existence of one God. Thank you so much for your question.
Moving along, Vasik, you can ask your question now.
In your speech, by the way, nice speech, you said there's nobody to punish it. Simply like that, not just word to word I'm saying. There's nobody to punish her, right?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Nobody to punish. Who is nobody? Nobody.
No, like, there's no God who can punish us. It is we who do it, and we are the one who will feel the guilt, right?
Yeah.
In every religion, there is this day of judgment, where everyone will pay for his deed. Either the one who has done good will go to this heaven, and the one who has done evil will go to hell. In every religion, in this Christianity, in Hinduism, in Islam, in every religion, it is stated there is God, and the one who will do the good will go to paradise, the one who will do the bad. So what do you think? Right now, if I get the justice from Indian Constitution, it won't be that satisfying as much of that God will do. What do you think that? We just have to have some patience.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the question. So the answer is that the idea of religion and idea of God are apart. Idea of religion is something that this society, we humans have created. As in movie PK, it was very well mentioned that हम किसी थप्पे के साथ पैदा नहीं होते, that we are Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai or whatever. So it is our construction. It is a human mind construction. So we can't interlink the both. Moreover, moving forward, if I do something good or evil, it is directly going to my karmic account, which I have to fulfill in this life or in next life or in whatever I would be getting rebirth. So God purpose is like we can't say that this is God, this entity is God, and if I do something good, He will give me fruit. If I did something bad, He will give me punches. You can't say that, because that is already, that plus minus thing of your good and your bad, your evil is already happening in your karmic account, for which only you are responsible. And further moving, if I want the intermediate result, like as now if I committed a crime, I've done an evil activity, if I want an evil punishment, like nobody wants punishment, but in this world we give punishment through our constitution, through our judiciary system. So for that, our law, our government is there to speak or to give decision or to make decision on what we did, on our action. We are accountable to our action, to ourselves. And number two, we are accountable of our actions to the country in which we live, to its judiciary system, to its constitution. So we need to maintain the balance between both, because in the end, it's gonna us who gonna get fruits, or it's gonna us who gonna get punches for our evil activity. Thank you for the question. I hope that answers.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there is first question.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. We'll move ahead now. Manya.
Ma'am, there is has answered the question, like asked the question. Can I read that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. I'm opening chat. You said that God within can prevent evil. However, you are referring to is our conscience, and it has not created the world. God power and therefore it must be in the hands to remove evil. What do you have to say on that? I think I'm not able to get the clarity of a question. Can you open your mic and try once again? Maybe I can hear you. You can ask me in a very crisp language, like a short one, so that I can answer you. There, if you can hear me.
Actually, it was my question that you just read out. So,
yeah, you read out, please.
Sure, you can read out.
Should I say that, or are you willing to answer their question? Alright, I'll just explain my question. So basically, my question was you said in the beginning of your speech that God is basically there to help stop evil, but that God exists within, and the God that is outside can't do anything, or rather, he does not exist.